What's up, guys? You're listening to the Lifestyle Hub, the podcast that takes you behind the scenes and into the lives of inspiring individuals to not only educate, but unlock your true potential to live a healthy, active, and fulfilling life. I'm your host, Jason Grimmer. Now let's get this show on the road. Alrighty, guys, welcome back to another episode of the Lifestyle Hub podcast. And today we are joined by a guest who we will discuss the challenges and triumphs of an individual who has overcome obstacles in their life. Our guest today is Sujith Koshy Varghese, Guinness World Record holder, 3 times TED speaker, winner of the most inspirational personality, a rapper, and an inspiration to many. Mate, welcome.
Thank you so much.
How you doing?
I'm good. It's an absolute pleasure to be at your podcast.
I'm honestly so stoked to have you on. We've chatted a bit at the start of today's episode, haven't we? But it's been actually quite. It's not been some time because I think we stay connected on socials.
Right.
But it's been a while since we've actually
had a
proper chat.
Yeah, right.
How have you been?
Amazing. On top of the world.
Top of the
Lately, it's like on top of the world. 2023 is just my year.
It's your
year.
year.
I can feel it. You know, some of those years are there.
Yeah.
It's like, damn, what a sad year. This one, phenomenal.
We're on
I can
form.
own it. I can totally own this year.
Love that. That's exactly what we want to hear, especially at the start of today's podcast. So I know I touched it briefly on the intro, but if someone was to ask you in your own words, what would you? How would you describe yourself as for what you do for a living?
What I do for a living?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm a banker. I work in the treasury department of Emirates NBD. So that's my first main job. I'm a motivational speaker where I go to companies and events where they invite me for speeches. And thirdly, I am a personal trainer, level 3. And I am a rapper. But I don't say that as a profession, but you can say banker, TEDx speaker, and personal trainer.
Personal trainer. A pretty interesting combination. Do they tie in any way? The 3?
Not really, no. And I have something I'm stepping my hands into lately, but I'm waiting to launch. I want to leave it as a surprise. But it's something to do with music, but not rapping.
Okay.
And that's my next big venture I'm looking forward to.
Okay, love it. That's exactly what I want to hear. Always pushing on to the next thing to try and progress.
Yeah, I mean, I always say there's something like, your life is so big and life is so vast that you cannot just ever say to any. I think even if you say that, you should really reflect and ask yourself that question like, am I only this much? I know people who do 9 to 5 jobs and they come back home and they're super dead tired and they live. I'm like, that's not how you want to live. You're a human being. You want to literally explore every single thing that you can. Yes, you might not be great at everything that you do, but experiences was what makes us live, right?
Yeah.
So I'm just in the pursuit of that. That's why I just, okay, let me do this, let me do that, let me do this. And now the new thing I'm doing, I'm like, let's see where that goes.
Just keep trying and seeing what sticks and what you enjoy.
Explore.
It's the most important thing.
Yeah.
Mate, tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from, a bit about your background, and then we'll kind of start to dive into today's episode.
Okay, so I am a complete Dubai-born kid, and I've done most of my schooling here. I'm basically from Kerala. Okay. We have a place called Mavelikara. It's in Alappuzha district, backwaters of Kerala. So Alappuzha district is where I'm from. Dad and mom has been here from past 45 years. Wow. So dad has seen Sheikh Zayed sand to how it is today.
I mean, you've almost seen a massive
I have seen a massive change as well. I can tell you that. Definitely. And so I did most of my schooling here and 3 years of my education back in Kerala.
Yes.
And then Bangalore. Are you familiar with Bangalore?
I've never been.
But you would have, I'm sure you would have heard that name.
I've definitely heard of the name, for sure.
So I did my college in Bangalore.
Okay.
And that was in 2013 is when was my final year. Yes. And now I'm back in Dubai.
Okay.
So 13, I had an accident.
Yes.
And entire life changed. Entire life flipped. It was like 2 different phases. I would say I'm lucky to see these 2 different sides of life, And many do, I think, get certain sides of it as they grow older, but I think I got it at a very young age.
How old are you?
When this happened, I was 20 years old. I turned 21 in the hospital. I turned 21 12 days later.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'll have some listeners on today's podcast. For a lot of you that are in Dubai, I know you've seen Sujith before. I know you've heard of his story. I would like him to share that with us now, just what the experience that he's speaking about, because I do have a lot of listeners, obviously, in other countries and in Australia in particular. Mate, tell us a bit about what you're describing and what happened.
So I was in my final year of my college. Bangalore, I loved biking. Believe this, I bought a bike before I got a license.
Yeah.
And that is possible in India. So that's how crazy I was. I think I even spent another 20 grand rupees extra just to get a black color R15. which just launched in Bangalore. So I was nuts about bikes. I was surrounded with guys who were crazy bike riders. So, all these things just influenced this young kid.
Of course.
That was me. And so it's all about speed. It's all about adrenaline. And it's that age, Jason, like 18, 19, 20.
Yeah.
You just feel you have everything at your hands and you're killing it,
You're invincible.
And
as well.
yeah, you're invincible. And Bangalore was a place where all my friends circle. We all were like, all students are here. It's not like your families are not there. All the families are abroad. So Bangalore was this big, really good college hub,
Yeah. So did your family know you had a bike?
Yeah, of course they had a bike. They're the ones who funded me.
Okay,
And they had no
All
money at that time. But I got the bike and, I loved riding. But what happened is, so we had a lot of races and, during my time.
Yeah.
But this one was on March 31st, 2013, where I was just out with a bunch of students. We have this thing like, night drives like chai. You would go for chai at 2 o'clock in the night. And it's a very common thing what happens over there.
Yeah.
Even here, like literally, right?
For sure.
And we were going out, and the only memory I remember of that night is where we were at a friend's house, and there were a couple of guys. There was a girl on my bike. There was another bike, and I took the bike out, and that's my last memory. My very next memory was waking up in a hospital, and I'm on a bed, and I just wake up. So this is me. I know it's quite hard to believe, but this was me just waking up one day, and I'm looking, and I see my folks, and I see my sisters and my brother-in-law, and they're looking at me. And my first question, my mom asked me, "Can you see us?" And my dad asked me, "Do you recognize us?" And I just nodded, and I passed out. Again, the next time I wake up, it's already the next day, and I see them again for 5-10 minutes. I'm like, "What happened? What are you guys doing here?" I'm like, it's not even like I'm semi-conscious. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I asked them, "What are you guys doing?" And they're like, and my brother-in-law tells me, "Sujith, just calm down. It's fine. You had an accident, and you're in the ICU." And all I'm telling is like, "Why are you guys here? Yeah. You guys go back. I'll fix myself and I'll come." I have no idea. I'm just saying some rubbish because there's a tube down my nose and this tube down my throat.
Yes.
It took me 2 weeks, Jason, to understand, because for 2 weeks I was in the ICU with the doctor telling my mom and dad he might die today or he might die tomorrow because everything was failing. So what really happened is, and I'll give you a full picture. I took the bikes out for a ride, and under a tunnel we were cruising, and my crash guard of the bike hit a truck. That's how I lost balance. And the person behind me, I hit a footpath, the person behind me flew, and I was still held onto the bike. My body went and crashed into a wall, which broke and fell on me. Now, I did not have a helmet, due to which the first impact of that wall was on my head and then my back. And I was taken to St. John's Hospital. She wasn't breathing for the first few hours. So because they saw her condition, she wasn't breathing, they took her in the ICU and the ICU got full. This is happening at like 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock in the morning. Yeah. So once they took her, she looked bad, like bruised up and really bad. I didn't look too bad. I looked fine. Yeah. But everything was internal for me, And once they put her in the ICU got full and I was kept on the lobby for 4 hours. For 4 hours, luckily in Bangalore, I had my cousins over there. 2 of my cousins were there. They woke up in the middle of the night and they came to the hospital. And she created a big ruckus. And then another Fortis hospital, they sent an ambulance to take me to that hospital. When they took me, they understood this guy's breathing very badly. Yes. And when they analyzed me, so this is what happened. I had 18 fractures on my skull. On the right side of my skull alone, my eyes were depressed down. My ribs broke. One of my ribs pierced my lungs and it made a hole. So there's like all bleeding and I'm not able to breathe. Thus, I was breathing very badly and my spinal cord broke at my T5, T6 level. And I was completely unconscious. And so the first thing they did before they bought anybody was like fix the lung puncture because I would just pass out eventually with all the bleeding and everything. Yeah. And then my parents were called and the next morning they flew in. They flew into Bangalore and apparently my mom and dad was taken in a room. But my mom said she's not going to enter that room. So my dad and my sister entered the room and he had this big skeleton's diagram and he started explaining what all was broken. And I had a 12-hour surgery. 12 hours, 6 hours for my skull, 6 hours for my back. And after the surgery, the doctor said he has a 40% chance of survival. So immediately I was in coma. The first story I told you where I woke up and I saw my family, that was the 4th day. So I woke up on the 4th day. Till then I was on a ventilator. I mean, this is what I understood after months of in the hospital. So no one ever told me anything. And because of this 12-hour surgery, I'm on morphine every single day.
Yeah.
High doses of morphine, my friend. Like, you're barely conscious. You're not logically thinking anything. No. You're just like drowsy, dizzy. And this is on for a prolonged period of time, which was for 2-3 weeks. When I was brought to the ward, they stopped the morphine and everything because now I'm in the general ward. Now they said I will survive. Man, that's when all the pain kicks in. I can't have anyone touching me. I can't even have my mom coming to even give me a kiss on my cheek. Like, the pain used to kill me, So yeah, that was how it was for a very long time. And I learned these things over time. I didn't even know there was a person on my bike. A friend of mine accidentally came in the hospital. Like, how is she? I'm like, why are you asking me? But wasn't she on your bike? And that's when I came to know. So none of the family told me because they didn't want me to go into more trauma or more,
to add more pressure.
So that's what happened at the age of 20, man.
Bro, honestly, yeah. Another level. You're very lucky to be here. I think
I'm very lucky to be alive. The day I got discharged from that hospital, this doctor, he's a 28-year neurosurgeon, and he's very known. And he comes to my dad and he says, when your son came, he was a level 7 surgery. So a level 8 is like the highest level of surgeries in that hospital. And Fortis is a very renowned hospital, as you know. Level 8 is like a heart transplant. Yeah. You get what I'm saying? I was a level 7, bro. He's like, when your son came, I never thought he would survive. I thought he would go on the 4th day. Yeah. I've never seen a person coming with this much grave injury and surviving and leaving this hospital. The guy came and told my dad.
Do you think you know any reason why you had the ability to push through
survive?
Against all the odds?
I mean,
at that point.
No, now I can talk about it. I can't even tell you about that point. I'm not even thinking, Jason. Like, for months, I was in a trance. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's so confusing. There's just so much, everything, like your life just changed. Like, suddenly you're like this guy, you're like this, how do you say? You're like this bird in a cage because everyone is looking at you. You know what I mean? And I can't feel my legs suddenly. I wake up one day, I don't know why. And I'm thinking in my head, like, okay, this is going to get better. Like, I had no idea what a spinal cord injury is. No one was telling me anything. My family was going through so much of pain and trauma, and I'm seeing them crying every single day. I can't move a bit because of insane amount of pain any direction I change. I used to be literally asking whoever is my, the closest person next to me, can you please give me a hand? Yeah. And I used to hold their hand just to release the pain. I did that almost every day, whoever it was closest to me. And, it took me a while to just sink in and understand the gravity of things and know where I am today. Like, know where I am at that point.
You're 10 years on.
10 years on.
This year. When's 10 years?
It's finished. It was on March 31st.
March 31st.
Yeah.
How do you feel? How do you feel 10 years on?
Wow, what a journey, man. Like, so grateful. Somebody recently asked me on my Instagram, do you regret that day? And how do I say it? There are some questions I don't ask myself.
Yeah.
It's one of those questions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think that has any sort of positive
there is nothing
ending to
positive
that
about
question,
it, but it's like I became into a completely different trip into life where I started realizing that it's really not your body. I definitely want my body back. Don't even get me wrong for even a second that I don't want to walk and run. Yes, I would throw everything I have to walk and run again today. But the person I became and what I realized and what I saw and what I understood about life in this 10 years journey, I don't think I would ever know otherwise.
Okay.
It has made me something else.
These are the journeys and experiences that I really want to unlock today on today's episode with you, because I know over the last 10 years you've experienced challenges that people probably can't even comprehend. And we're going to start on a slightly positive note with your most recent feat, which is one that's capturing social media, which is
everywhere.
Your most recent, because this is your second. Is this your second record?
No, it's my first world record.
Before that, you did the carpool.
That wasn't a world record.
That was just
I could have,
surely.
Later on, I came to know about it. I just had a few hundred kilos more, and I could have actually I could have tried an attempt for a record.
Right. I thought so, because so Sujith basically pulled a car that was how many kilos?
1,250 kilos.
While you were in the wheelchair.
Yeah, but what's the fun part? The world record is for 1,700 for a certain amount of distance.
Yes.
The thing that social media or people outside doesn't know is that I was practicing for this event, this carpool event, obviously, right? But I was practicing with 2,500 kilos, which is basically 2 cars.
Oh, yeah.
I was practicing with that and I was able to pull it.
Wow.
but it killed me. But I was pulling it. So 1,700 wouldn't be that difficult.
Definitely not in that case. So then your official Guinness World Record that you just recently set. Tell me about this, because this is pretty
This
amazing.
is insane. I love it. So the title is called The Largest GPS Logo by an Individual CID2. CID2 means it's people or person of determination. That's their code for Guinness World. So what I did is I had a tracker on me, and I started the tracker right in front of Burj Khalifa, and I designed a map in Map My Run, the Under Armour's map. I mapped a certain route, and I wheeled in a certain way, and I came back and I finished my entire route in 8.71 kilometers. The entire distance that I mapped in Map My Run was of 8.71 kilometers. And when I finished the entire track, I would stop my tracker and I would take this tracker, whatever this map that got saved, and I would put it on Google Earth. So in Google Earth, you would see the design I went through, right? The way I went through. When you look at that view, that is the shape of a wheelchair.
Yes. I've seen the image. It's amazing.
So
very impressive.
That's what I did.
So that was the official Guinness World Record. How did you feel doing that? That would have been
it was a
physically
record being
challenging.
made. So no one has made that record.
So it's like a new challenge. No one
As a person of determination, no one has done it.
Amazing.
Yeah. So people have done it. Like Chevrolet has done their logo, but by driving cars for like 146,000 kilometers.
Yes.
So Chevrolet has done it. Some group of bikers have done it, but that's not a logo as such. There's just maybe some distance.
Yes.
So I'm the first guy to do a logo in a wheelchair.
And in a pretty iconic country
place.
and location.
Yeah.
And it was a very iconic bit of footage. You had all the Dubai police there escorting you through the streets. All the roads were cut off, weren't they?
I did not expect that. I did not expect that one bit. It was the biggest shock and biggest happiness at 5 o'clock in the morning when I land right next to Burj Khalifa, because Burj Khalifa fountain was the meeting point.
Yes.
And I'm looking around and I'm like, there's literally 20 cars, except for 2 cars on that side, which is ambulance and the garage studio guys.
Yeah.
Everywhere else is cop cars. And I tell my sister, I think we are in the wrong location. She's like, I think so too.
Yeah.
I'm like, probably Fazza is coming or something.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
I don't know,
This is for you.
And I call the guy and he's like, yeah, where are you? We are here. I'm like, yeah, I'm right here as well. And then I'm like, shit, this is actually for me.
The real deal.
I did not expect that. I expected like 5 cars.
No,
And I'm
amazing.
seeing 20, 25 cars, man.
I mean, it's an inspirational accomplishment.
Yeah.
One that would have been quite challenging.
Very.
You do have experience in the health and fitness world, though. Tell us a little bit about health, wellness, personal training. You are, from what I understood, one of the first persons of determination with a personal training certification in the UAE.
Yes.
Amazing.
So man, fitness changed my life. Fitness saved me.
Yeah.
So one thing you asked me earlier, if there's something that you have to give it that you think you're still alive, I would say in Bangalore, in my final year of college, I was very much into boxing. I was in a boxing academy.
Yeah.
But I trained, man, I was religiously training for it. Like, I entered the place, no shoes. I would kill myself. I'm just born that way. Yeah. Like, that's the way I'm made in my sports and my athletics. I would do anything, Like, I would be panting, but I would be crawling to the finish line. So boxing has a huge impact on me at such a mere age of in my 20s and 30s. 20s, actually. So when I came back to Dubai in 2017, accident happened in 2013. I come back in 17, and I'm like so weak. And there's so much things that happened during this journey. Yeah. I'm very weak. If I left my hand from a wheelchair, I would fall down. That's how bad my balance was, my core was. Yeah. So I told my mom and dad, I want to go to the gym. And my mom was like, you sure? I'm like, do what you want to do. And my dad was like, are you sure? I'm like, I just know I want to go to the gym. So even if Jason, I want to get to a sofa, right? I need your help. I need 2 other people to hold everything, make sure that I don't fall. That was my situation. And that's when I'm telling my mom I want to go to the gym. And I started going to the gym, Jason. For the first 2-3 weeks, I'm taking like 4 kilos, 3 kilos. This is baby weights. We don't even give babies these weights. You know this, But that's how bad I was. That's the max I could do. Yeah. But fitness was a religion for me. Like I was not doing anything. I wasn't studying. My college wasn't over. I wasn't working. Just sitting home all day, watching some TV, eating food and sleeping. Yeah. And in my head, I'm like, I got to get stronger, And that was the purpose of going to the gym. And fast forward, 3 months later, I find myself bench pressing 100 kilos for the first time in my life.
Shit, mate. Yeah, great. That's impressive.
And that really boosted me. Like when I got strong and I got a little bulkier and built, my confidence grew. To wheel around and go somewhere, to be around, it just gave me that extra confidence. And from then on, today my journey is history. But if you ask me the core root of my success journey, other than my confidence being the real core, it's fitness. So, it transformed me. It made me such a better person. It made me so much healthier. It made me so much confidence in life. And it made me in such a good position, Like with working out every day, that's the place I felt I belonged. You know, I mean, everyone used to look at me on the streets like this guy wheelchair. I've had so many incidences. I'm just entering buildings. I know we are going a little off topic here,
No,
but
this is good.
you know, I'm entering buildings. What happened to you? What happened to you? I'm going to the grocery. What happened to you? Some random lady, oh, my beta, what happened to you? Like in Hindi, she's saying, how sad for you. And, you know, everywhere I'm going to a taxi to meet my boys and they're like, first thing, the cab drivers, I used to, you know, I've bluffed saying that I don't know Hindi because I used to get annoyed by this question. What happened to you? The first thing. I'm like, dude, there's no empathy from anyone. You know, like everyone's just asking, why is this young guy on a wheelchair? It doesn't make sense to them. But that's not the first thing you ask me, you know? So, but, you know, and I felt people were looking with sympathy or here or there. But in the gym, man, I felt I owned it. You know, I remember this one incident. I still remember I was in this gym. And I asked this guy, I couldn't reach the dumbbell rack. I'm like, can you give me those weights? He's like, how much? 5 kilo? The way he asked me, the way he told me was like, how much are you going to do? I'm like, no, 10. And I remember fast forward, there's a day also where I'm shoulder pressing 25 kilos on each hand. And half the gym just stopped to watch how far is he going to go. You know, like that's a place I felt I belong. That's a place I felt, boy, you cannot beat me. I've had guys like in my little prime. I mean, I'm not in the best shape right now, but
Mate,
in my better prime, I've had guys come and ask me, what do you take? I'm like, protein. No, what else? I'm like, pre-workout. No, what else? What else? They think I'm jabbing or something. Like, no, I don't do any of that shit, man. I'm eating. I'm just hardcore here. The only difference between you and me is I do my 3 sets. After my sets, I take my 30 seconds rest and I do my second. You, my friend, get involved in talking and chatting, and that's why you don't have those gains. You know what I mean?
Do you think this was a massive, like this was a shift for you from a mindset perspective to focus on what possibilities you could unlock opposed to your limitations? Would you say fitness helped you look at life from that perspective?
Completely. Fitness helped me is because I'll tell you a short story here. First, when I wanted to go to gym, my mom used to wheel me to the gym. You know where was the gym? The next building. That's like a 5 minute, not even a 5 minutes of wheeling. She used to wheel me. As I got strong, I told mom, I'll wheel myself. I started wheeling myself. As I got even more stronger, I got sponsored by UFC gym to work out. And I had the biggest, craziest idea. I'm like, I don't have money to go buy cabs every day. I'm not driving that time. I'm like, how do I go to UFC gym? Because UFC gym had one thing my gym didn't have, which was boxing bags. Okay, and I really wanted to box. I missed my boxing days. You know what I used to do? I used to wheel, Jason. I used to wheel from my house 600 meters, Sahara Center. I used to enter Sahara Center and I used to exit from the back. From there, I used to take a bus to Guinness metro station. From Guinness metro station, I used to go to Business Bay metro station. From Business Bay, take another bus, go to Bay Square, work out and come back. Every day, my gym session, 5.5 hours.
I was about to say.
5.5 hours every single day. I did that only because of my focus and my vision on boxing. The minute I started doing these things, where did I get the confidence from? Where did I get the courage to do it? Because I put in the hardest work. You know, people think getting a body is just for show. No, it is, you know, you and me, one thing we will hardcore, I think, agree on, gym is not about the physique. Physique is a bonus. It's completely the beast it makes you.
That's right.
Like the mental animal it makes you. I mean, that's what I became. And it gave me the confidence and the courage to go speak out, to go try new things. And I changed my life. You know, it was because I took a chance. Everyone has that fear point. Like, shit, what's going to happen out of this? At that point is when 90% of the people back out saying, oops, I'm scared, I'm not going to try it.
That's right.
But I had that courage to take that extra mile, you know? Like, it was 2 reasons. One was gym, the confidence it gave me. And second, I really felt I had nothing more to lose in life. I'm like, you know, I've been through the worst. How bad could it be? Like, why are you letting fear stop you? Fear, a lot of things people try to do that to me. A lot of people told me all my limitations for many years.
I was about to say this. I think people are very quick to tell you what you can't or shouldn't do.
Very quick.
And that can be debilitating for I'm not going to say a weaker mind, but potentially somebody who has a little less willpower or maybe not the ability to think for themselves. Like when somebody's saying to them, you can't do this, you can't do that. A lot of people will like take those steps backwards and say, you know what, I can't do this. I'm not going to try, etc. A lot of people do
It was
this.
making a choice. And I think it's unfortunate that people go into that trip. And like I was saying, you know, the minute this happened to me, when I was back in Kerala, my house, because my dad and mom was here. It was my dad and my sisters were here. They were working. My mom was retired. And I had so many people, Jason, hundreds of people coming and visiting me almost every single day. And the minute, I used to remember seeing them walking through the gate. And the minute they look at me, they have the saddest face. Oh, poor thing happened to you. What happened to you? And I have had the worst encounters where I'll tell you in specific. The minute I used to tell the person sitting in front of me, yeah, I'm paralyzed. So what happened to you? It's a spinal cord injury. Where can't you feel from below my... You can't feel your legs? No. The minute I say that, they come and touch my legs. You can't feel this? This has not happened one time. This has happened multiple times. Okay? There's another guy who's come, seen my house. I was on the bed sleeping. I was sitting up. And I was sitting on the wheelchair, I think. He told my mom, he said, I thought he was completely bedridden. That's what I heard. And there's another lady who came and said, Sujith, you're getting fat. Because, dude, you're getting fat and everything. You should take care of your weight. I'm like, are you freaking serious? Like, do you even know what I've been through, woman?
Yeah.
It's not even 4 months since my accident. Obviously, right?
Yeah,
and that's what she's telling me. And someone came and said he's never probably going to have a job again. He can have a desk job. You can consider probably having a desk job. He's always going to need someone. Imagine my friend, the guy I was before the accident, there was a completely different guy. I was at the pinnacle of my I don't know, energy, you can say that. I was killing it.
Yeah.
I was a boxer. I felt no one could touch me. That was my attitude. I'm going to be that, that rebellious 20-year-old for like 5 seconds right now.
Yeah.
I was at that age in Bangalore. No one would mess with me, bro, physically. I was that character, know. I used to love partying. I was crazy into bikes. People knew me. I had my own scenes going on.
Yeah.
And boom, man, like not even 6 months down the lane, I find myself in this most difficult, most saddest place of my life,
Did most people stick by you during that?
No, I was just coming to that.
Yeah.
There was so many people and I was thinking, and I was calling everyone, man. I was calling, apart from these people telling me all these things and it's just making me sad and depressed. And obviously in my heart, I'm not believing it. But when you hear it every single time from every single person,
It's hard to fight
It's hard to fight, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then another thing I thought, I'm like, no, still my friends are there. And I used to make calls every day to all these people. And then one person once told me, Sujith, stop making those calls. Let's see how many call you back.
Yes.
And I did. And I barely got 5 calls back, Jason. And that was the biggest, hurtful, biggest realization of my life. I used to die for my friends. I was that kid. I used to die for them, fight. I would be the first one to jump and beat their faces up. The other person's messing with my friends. And I find myself, can't move, can't feel anything below my chest. Everyone's giving me this shit. People telling me I can't do stuff. Barely any 5 people. I'll tell you a sad truth right now. I used to be a guy people used to be chasing to talk to, at least some of them.
Yes.
I find myself at a position where I'm on Facebook searching for some old friends who try to contact me and I never contacted them back.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's the position I came down to, man. And what topped all of this, which now I'm going to the crux of how low I went. After this, everything is up. There was a Vaidyan, an Ayurvedic doctor who came into my house, brought by another guy saying that he can heal Sujith. And that guy told my mom 3 conditions I need to happen. And this might sound really bizarre to you, but number 1 is no one should see Sujith again. Because, this evil eye, bad eye thing, and they really followed in Ayurveda. So I think so. So no one who sees him once should never see him again. So I didn't see anyone other than my mom for 3 months and this dude. Okay. So I had another room just for this. Secondly, he has to be on oil treatment from 6 or something till 3 in the afternoon. Fair enough. Okay. Third thing was the toughest. He's like, he has to be on a diet, which is Ayurveda has a diet. You're not supposed to eat. But this guy's was way more rigorous. Yes. All what I got to eat for 3 months as breakfast is dosa and sugar.
Yes.
Afternoon and lunch was rice and ladyfinger gravy. I was given fish once in 2 weeks. And no milk, no fruits, nothing else. Other than what I just mentioned right now, I was not allowed to eat anything. So what happens to my body? It deteriorated even more. And he used to do this with this. He used to hit here on my thigh, on both my thigh and back, saying this is how the blood flow is going to increase. After a point of time, I started seeing my entire thigh on these sides becoming black. And I started getting shivers, the worst shivers of my life. I can't even pop Panadol. If I pop a Panadol, it will repel against his medicine. So I held on, bro, because my only idea is I just want to walk. I would freaking drink half. If you told me drink this much poison, you'll walk, but you won't die, I would do that. That was the state I was at. And fast forward, I find myself one day, woke up, can't move, can't stop shivering for a week straight. The nurse that came to take my blood, she was like, he has the highest infection. It's super high. Take him to a hospital. And my sister fed me something and I puked it out at early in the morning, like 6 o'clock in the morning. My mom put the stamp to it. She like, screw it, let's go to the hospital. I think there's something seriously wrong. That's when I realized I became colorblind. As soon as I sat on my wheelchair, my cousin brothers came to take me to the hospital, and I couldn't see anyone. I could see images, I could see blurry. It was so bad. The doctor analyzed me for, I think, 15 minutes as soon as we reached, and he started shouting at my mom. He's like, "What's wrong with you? You would have bought him another week later, he would have died." And they immediately put me in the ICU. For the next week and a half, I was in complete blood transfusions. And then I went another 16 surgeries to heal the wound caused by this man. So you read I had 18 surgeries in my life, right? 16 was to repair the damages this man caused. The first 2 was my head and my spine.
Jeez. I mean, I can't even comprehend that. How does someone get away with that? And how do you...
We never found him after that. We never found him. I would have killed him. But there was so much of anger built in me. It still is. But I really shun it down because I cannot live with that hate. But what happened to me, it's very... Only I know about it.
Do you think it was just a second... it was just a second test that you went to hell and back, and then you went again, and then you came back?
I think this
almost that's how it sounds to me. Because I don't know how you enjoyed what you've gone through, but then to go through something like this in that condition.
Yeah, so that was the worst part. So no, that's something I don't see it anyway, Jason, other than that it was wrong. Like it was something that shouldn't have happened.
Yeah.
It's nothing to do that made me stronger. Yes, I went through so much of pain that today when I see anything happening in the most darkest of ways, it doesn't affect me, because I've seen worse happening to my body while I was awake.
Yes.
I've woken up during surgeries. Yes. I've seen like literally medically speaking, I've seen some really hardcore stuff. But we never saw that guy after that. We never was able to find him after.
Probably for the best, I can imagine. For his sake. One thing, like just on that topic, what advice would you give to people who are going through a tough time and feel like giving up? Because I think that was probably that perfect moment where you could have thrown the towel in. What would your like little bit of advice be?
If you never do something about it, it'll never change. You'll always be in that situation. The only option I had at that point where I really went low is when I started thinking about killing myself. And I'm not sure if you want to talk about it, but then, it was the darkest phase and I did my research on it. But then I thought to myself, do I really have the guts to do it?
Yeah.
That's one real question, right? And I was planning on date and time, and I need my family to be away from the house and whatnot. Then I'm like, take a chance to prove everyone wrong, because Sujith, this was not you, my friend, until March of 2013. You were a different character. December of 2013, what happened to you? I'm asking, and one thing I had, Jason, was a lot of time with me. And look at it, Jason, fast forward today. Where am I? I'm a Guinness World Record holder, my friend. I'm a 3-time TEDx speaker, Masala Award inspirational winner. I've seen my family is happy. I've made a change.
Yes.
I'm not saying I'm still happy. I'm in a wheelchair. I'm not happy. I will change that too. Some things take time, right? But all those people who are depressed, and I have hundreds of people messaging me various different kinds of problem. I tell them, I think the biggest problem is when I was a kid, when I was going through this, I expected my mom and dad to have a solution because they were elder.
Yeah.
Whatever reckless I felt, I was a king in Bangalore. If I really went through some big shit, Mama, Dada, help me. I'm really messed up, right?
Yeah.
What happens when my mom and dad didn't have an answer? What happened when the doctors didn't have an answer? So at that age or at that any phase of our life, we always think there are people around us who will help us. These people who are going through these really tough times, they are in that last phases because they feel nobody can help them.
Yes.
Take life in your hands. It's your life. Take control of it. Tell yourself, take a chance, because if you do not take the chance, you will never change the situation.
That's right.
And believe me, you can have the richest person, the most influential person coming and telling you, I will help you out. But if you are not going to be willing, if you're not willing to be helped, if you don't help yourself first, you will nothing will change.
Yeah, a very valuable bit of advice, and one that is testament to obviously where you are today. The TEDx talks, obviously, you're an amazing person to be there talking about the topics that you touch on. Tell me a little bit about it. What topics do you tend to cover, and what do you like to offer to the audience when you do your talks?
So it was initially my story on how I bounced back, and I've had an opportunity. I've been so grateful for even being called. The first time I was called for a TEDx talk, I was so scared I felt sick. You know, I popped Panadols before I went for my first speech, and I was
it's a
so
big
nervous.
deal. Where are they?
So the first one was in Abu Dhabi, and the other two was in Dubai.
And generally, how many people are you in front
So
of?
TEDx talk, they have a limit.
Yes.
Okay, you're only supposed to have a capacity of 100 or 110 people in an audience.
There's a lot of people.
TED you can have more,
Okay.
but TEDx is just 100 people.
Yes.
So it's a good audience, good enough audience. But my first one, I remember I got a standing ovation and everything. And so I cover basically, you know, it's about a lot of people want to do so many things, right, in life, but they do not know how to do it. They don't think they are good enough. I'll tell you a few topics. They don't think they can do it. They don't think they have the opportunity to do it. I'm a complete underdog, my friend. I started from nothing. You know what I mean? At least let's talk about my life from 2013 onwards. At least where I am today. You know, I didn't have any silver spoon given to me. I was not fed on a silver spoon. I was not fed. I discovered a lot of things in life.
Yeah.
So I talk to a lot of people. It's very important. A few topics I talk about is confidence.
Yes.
I talk about I talk about how do you change your life and accommodate the things that you do in your life to live a meaningful and a leading life that will actually get you to the desires and the things that you want.
Yes.
You know, many a times, you know what's the best part, Jason? Many a times, we know how to get that certain thing that we want. We must be talking to friends, shit, man, I really wish I had that. We all know it, but nobody's willing to accept the path that will take you to get that thing.
Yeah, exactly.
And believe me, you know, everybody wants something, but everything is hard. Like somebody was telling me something, I need that. I'm like, I told them how to get it. I'm like, dude, that's so hard. I'm like, dude, if it was easy,
this is the conversation I have every single day.
if it was easy, everyone would have it. You know,
That's right. I'm like, look around, like what you want most, not everybody has, and that's
and
for a reason.
prioritize. You know, there's sacrifices required for it. And I understood during my journey that when I needed to do certain things, there was a lot of sacrifices. My pleasures I had to leave away. You know what I mean? Yeah. And that might and I have cut a lot of people in my life. That's another very important thing. Who do you surround with? I talk about, you know, I talk about your mindset. I talk about the first things that you got to do at the day. I talk about, more importantly, on how you should see yourself.
Yes.
You know, I mean, dude, I'm nothing. I'm just like a regular guy, you know, chilling, killing, like doing what I like. But when I look at myself in the mirror and I tell this to everyone, like, you should freaking feel, you're like, you know what I mean? You're Shah Rukh Khan.
Yeah.
You should feel your best. You're untouchable. There's no one. Why? Why not?
Yes.
You know, I never let the fact that I'm in a wheelchair, oh shit, he's walking. Big deal, dude. Come match with my level at any game that I would play, that you would play. I would still beat you, or I would be equal, or whatever. You would beat me, whatever. You know what I mean? But I know a lot of people who get shunned down because I got shunned down initially. Yes. When I was in a wheelchair, I'm like, shit, I can't approach that. There's so many girls I wanted to approach. I'm like, I can't, I'm going to be in a wheelchair. Why is she going out with a guy in a wheelchair? Yeah. You know what I mean? Places I went through, I'm like, shit, can I go here? Because if maybe some clubs or somewhere, can I go here because I'm in a wheelchair? I've had those phases as well. I've overcome that. Yeah. So it literally, it's all within. It's all within. It's all on who you think you are, what you want to be, who do you want to surround yourself with. How do you see your life? And I always tell this, because if you ask my real dream and goal, I want to put my family, my mom, my dad, and my mom, I kill for her, my mom, my dad, and my sisters in a position of comfort and happiness and luxury and good place. You know what I mean? Yes. And I want to be the person to do that. And if the only way I can do that is if I build myself to such a level. You know, that's what I want for that's my true definition of success. You know, I want that for my family. And the only way I can do it, I cannot just give it to them. I have to build myself in a way to do that.
Yes.
And why not? When you are in that position, you can help so many people around you.
That's right.
That's very important. It's never about you, my friend. It's never about me. It's always, it's a together thing. It's coexisting. We're living together. You know, make your life meaningful. You know, good you have $1 million but eating alone. That doesn't make sense.
It makes, I agree with you completely. If you were to pick one thing that motivates you each day, is it that concept where you look in the mirror in the morning and say,
oh yeah, gratitude,
and visualize? Or is it's an element of gratitude?
It is a huge element of gratitude.
Yeah.
So by default, that has come over time. And I initially consciously used to say it, but if I don't say it today, I feel something's odd about it. And I'm like, shit, I have to say it fast. So I always say, thank you for this day.
Yes.
Thank you for this day. Dude, like you have no idea. What if, just imagine if your day is taken out tomorrow. Do you even realize if I give you 5 hours, I'm like, not 5 hours, I know what's the time now. It's okay, 7 o'clock. I'm like, in another 6-7 hours, the day is going to end and you won't get up in the morning. Finish all the work that you have to finish. You know how flipped you will be?
No one could comprehend.
No one could comprehend that. Like, shit, I have this, I have that, I have this and that. So every day is you're so lucky to have that day. Yeah. You're so lucky to realize that who you can be, what you can do. People don't realize that. One thing I wasn't grateful about my life before. The minute my accident, when things were taken away from me, I became grateful. It's unfortunate I had to see it that way.
Yeah.
But I saw it. And dude, I'm so grateful for my life.
Yeah.
I'm so grateful for the family I have, for the house that I have, for the person I am, for the things I can do. There should be so much of happiness every single day in an individual. When you wake up in the mirror and you know you can literally be a damn new person and actually embrace life. You know, even the little things that you do.
That's right. Especially, I think, in this city in particular, with the opportunities that are here and the fortune that a lot of people can be faced with, not financially, but just the opportunities and the connections, etc. Dubai offers a lot to people, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Being someone that's lived here quite a lot. Obviously, there's pros and cons, you know, on different areas, but I think to find that gratefulness is such an important thing.
Important.
I don't think you should be harsh on yourself as a kid, because I think a lot of kids, you don't have that wisdom yet. I don't think, as a child.
I'll tell you how the energy element of this stuff works, right? Like you just said, right now, not everyone is going to be fortunate enough. Like the way I talk about it right now, everyone must be thinking, yeah, because they're comfortable. No. Let's talk about somebody who's having a very tough job, who's living in a very low income area of Dubai or whatever, right? They're like, what do I have to be grateful about? Unless and until you put yourself in that emotion of gratitude, you will never place yourself in that circumstance of that same energy.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
So then only then things change. Yes. Nobody can be in a sad position and wish for good things. You can never be in a sad mood and wish for good things.
Yes.
You got to elevate it. You got to believe it before it happens. Only then it happens, because it's not about, I'm not talking about now, I know it might sound like, oh, he's talking about universe and this. No, it's about once you set yourself in that higher gratitude, that higher vibration, that you are happy, that you will get there, you will automatically channel to ways and the things that you physically do in things that you want to get. Yes. And you will be talking to those right people. You will be coming across
I agree
those right things,
This is exactly like, I'm all about that. Like, yeah, I'm somebody that takes conscious efforts to show gratitude. I have things that I say in the morning. I actually say the same thing as you.
Yeah.
And so every time I put my feet down, when I get off the bed, I'll kind of take a second to just wake up and have a bit of water, and I'll just go, okay, thank you, I'm all good. Like, I'll whisper it to myself. No one else will really ever hear it. That will be such a conscious thought each day. And then I'll go for my walk and I'll have my affirmations or just a few words that I like to put into my head to try set the day up on the right foot. A lot of people don't realize the power that just a few of those positive, one, gratitude, affirmations, a little bit of self-confidence or self-belief or good self-talk can have on setting up your day. And like you're saying there, it starts to unfold. You're having conversations with the right people. Things are going your way, et cetera, et cetera. So it's such a powerful tool, not only for anybody who's gone through hardship, but I think it's something that so many people can capitalize on.
It's very important in life, I believe, because I love what you said. Even I'm a big self-talker. I'm a big self-talker. So people ask me, who do you look for inspiration? No, I'm like, tell me no and I make sure I do it, Like, these are things, it's good for me. It's healthy for me.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about challenges only right now, but I do the same thing, but I try to now practice it even more during my day. Drinking water, thank you. I pray for my food before I eat my food. I still have that. As a kid, I started that habit, but I still thank you, Jesus.
Yes.
Like, thank you.
Yeah.
I'm so happy to have that. I eat a Subway, I'm so happy to have that.
Yes.
Dude, because you should really also, I don't say comparing, but you are, believe me, so many people are in so much better places that they really don't know what they have.
Yes.
They don't understand it.
That's
They
right.
don't think they have it. I've seen super successful people, super good looking people, but freak, man, they're just shunned. You know what is the reason? No freaking confidence.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm like, you literally allowing that one thing to literally stop you from seeing the Taj Mahal that is in front of you. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And I've seen so many people as super successful, super good looking, but no confidence to be out there to do.
And you'd see those people in the personal training space as well. Now, as a coach, I think looking inside, we get a lot of people, because we obviously do the same thing, we get a lot of people who come to us with that vulnerability, that, they're low on self-confidence. Sometimes a lot of the times that's internal, but then it can spiral out to a visual or physical or mental, etc. So it's such an important thing. I wanted to touch on before, you said, as far as who do you look up to and who inspires you, I was curious, is there somebody that you look up to? Besides saying yourself in a way,
Actually,
because I think you should.
In work ethics, yes, and that's Kobe Bryant.
Okay.
May he rest in peace. But dude, I was the biggest follower of Kobe Bryant from my school days. I made sure my basketball jersey was number 8 because he was, when he's drafted, initially he was number 8. But I followed a guy religiously, but you know, the way he talks about work, the way he talks about outworking people. You know, I mean, we know Dwayne Johnson talks about outworking, but I've been hearing this way before him.
Yes.
So that really motivated me to really work hard in life. Like I have given my 110% in certain things that because of that mentality, I'm like, no, you have to try, you have to work. What is the worst that can happen? Also, Jason, I was in that position. I'm like, dude, I've been through so much of pain, you know, physical pain. I've been working out. I've heard bones break in my body. Believe me. I mean, not bones break, but like some cracks, some different sounds. I'm like, oh shit, like, you know, but I still went for it. I'm like, I've always had that mentality. Push it, man. Push it till the extreme because it's life. Go live it. I'm not advising this to people, but that's always I've been. So I've always tried to put a lot of hard work. And because I do that, because I know there is, I have seen results when I put a lot of hard work. And I know eventually I'm going to be in a position giving a talk to probably thousands of people saying hard work is the key, because it is the key.
Yeah.
You know, and I really work hard. Like, you know, I was discussing with you because I have this wound, I'm not working out now. But dude, right before that world record, the way I was training almost every single day of my life with a busy schedule that I have and training my clients, I still was at 9 o'clock in my home and I'm like, dude, you did not train today, but I cannot take a day off because what is my excuse, sir? Comfort and rest. I will still get that the next 6 hours, right?
Yes.
While I sleep. So I'm like, you have to put in work because it's not about I have to go and pump my muscles today. It's about you might allow that little bit pinch of comfort to slide in, which will become tomorrow and day after tomorrow. And before you know it, you're just canceling your important things. Not necessarily a gym, but anything else. So that's the problem. We are programmed to be in a comfort zone.
Yes.
Human beings. We are constantly fighting with our body and our mind.
Yes.
Right? And your body, and you know the memes that you see the little children have no one, that red devil and white angel or something.
That's right.
That is so true, my friend.
It is, yeah.
Because your mind is the one who tells you which is hard, what is possible when you're scared.
Yeah.
And that whole fear pulls you back and makes you feel you shouldn't be doing that something. I'm not talking about anything in life.
Yes.
You know, so it's a constant battle with yourself.
It's obviously an important part.
When you're talking about limitations.
Yes.
Right? And I tell that it's very important you find yourself in a position of grave limitations.
Yes.
It's very, very important in your life that you encounter a limitation where you're like, damn it, I really don't know what to do, who's going to help me out, because it's very important for growth.
Yes.
Without limitations, you're never going to grow. And you need that is why when these certain things have happened in my life and I'm like, dude, this is really hard and I've figured a way out. That figuring will come out later, eventually, when you brainstorm. But that initial look of it scares the shit out of me.
Yeah.
And it has scared us out, but you need to do that. But the minute I surpass that difficulty, tomorrow when a similar level of fear comes to me and there is somebody else like, shit, that's big. I'm like, that's nothing. I can beat it. You know? So that's how it is. It's constantly building one after the other, breaking. You break the first level, you go to the second level, you go to the levels will never end.
That's right.
Just for FI, people think, when is that? That's never going to end.
It's progressive.
But it's progressive. Yes. So to make you that untouchable being, you know?
I mean, guys, this is basically a TEDx today. So count yourselves lucky, because I'm honestly sitting here very inspired by all of that you've got to say, bro. And honestly, if someone's listening and they wanted to, be an inspiration to those around them, what bit of advice would you give them to, take that ownership to inspire others around them? Because you've done that to me, and I know everybody listening today.
Give hope to people. Make them believe that they can. Support somebody. I think support is the biggest thing. I would look at a mentor, and if that mentor told me, Sujith, I believe you can, that words can really imprint and make a difference in me. End of the day, it's my choice on how I take it. But I would definitely say, show a sign of support and give them a helping hand, because you never know, the little things can change. But the reason I say that is because from all the hundreds of DMs I've got, I've had very disturbing ones where I couldn't believe somebody even wrote that to me, telling this is what their husband did to them. This is what happened to them. This is how they're living in their family. And I have guided people, be in a very grateful position to, at least with my knowledge on what I think is right, to tell them, I think this is what you should do. And months down the lane, I see them in a very happy, better position. So even mere words of mere text messages of mine has made somebody in a way better position. So imagine you saying something to somebody, or you just giving a helping hand, can make the biggest difference in a person's life. So I think that's very important.
That's a very powerful message. And, not only do you have your own, I'm going to say obstacles in the day, or your areas that you need to to turn up for, to push yourself for. But it sounds like to me that you're also taking on a lot of other people's problems and trying to empower them back. Does it get overwhelming sometimes? Because, you know, I know it, but not to that level. Like I have people and but never to that level where I say this sometimes when I'm at home. I'm like, I give in all my energy to help give everyone else. And sometimes I sit back and feel like I'm kind of out of steam. Does that ever hit you?
The first time when I understood that I'm even in a position like that was my dad. I wasn't driving that time. This was way back in 15 or 16, I think. I asked my dad and mom to drop me to Dera City Center, and they dropped me, and they dropped me in the parking, and I got out of the car. Immediately, they bought my wheelchair. I sat on the wheelchair. They were about to leave, and a lady with her husband comes to me. Hey, you're Sujith, right? I'm like, yeah. I saw you on Asiana TV. Story was shared about the fitness challenge and all of that.
Yeah.
Spoke for like 3 minutes. The next thing I see in this woman in Dera City Center parking lot, she's crying. She's in tears, and I'm like, what happened? My nephew, and this is what she tells, okay, my nephew just had a bike accident and he is in a wheelchair. I send him your videos on Instagram of you working out as a sign of hope. Dude, the way that touched me that day, it just changed my life. And I'm asking myself, what the heck did you even do to even deserve to be in a position to help somebody? I'm so grateful. Like I'm looking at myself like, Sujith, you're nothing. You know what I mean? And I mean it with all my heart. I'm telling you, Jason, I'm nothing great. But I'm so blessed that I was in a position that somebody somewhere, I've never seen this kid, is watching my videos and getting inspired. And then months and months after, I have tons of people. I've people way older to me asking me for advice. I have way people younger to me asking for advice in the gravest situations. And they feel that because I've gone through some hell, which is a fact, I got out of that hell. You know what I mean? And they are in that hell and they're just finding a way, how can I help them get out of that hell? Yes. And I try my very best to help everybody I can. Yeah. Does it get overwhelming? Not really. No, I feel I'm very blessed to even be answering to someone when they ask me for advice. Yes. I mean, I'm nothing, you know what I mean? But they ask me and they listen to what I say. I've had tons of people saying, I saw you at gym at 11 o'clock in the night today because I post about everything. Go hard, go kill it, go crazy, at 11 o'clock.
Yeah, I see these.
And these people, they message me, dude, I just saw you in the gym at 11 o'clock and I was thinking, I'll just cancel mine today. I'm going right now. Yeah.
Or when you say you're nothing, I don't think that's a fair statement because I think you came from a position where you felt like you were just another kid growing up and then life's taken you on a different path. But I think it's normal for people to actually evolve or transform or to build into somebody. And I think that's something that you should definitely give yourself credit to because I would say a lot of people would definitely argue with that comment that you said before, bro. So honestly, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you on today. I wanted to lead to the final question of today's podcast, which is the golden question. So what do you think the key is to living a happy and fulfilling lifestyle? What was the key, do you think, when it comes to that?
Wow. You need to give me a second over here.
I like that. I prefer it when people take a second to think.
Being grateful for everything that you have, trying as many as things that you can with all your heart.
Yeah.
And keeping your family close. In the most simplest of ways, these are things, gratitude just makes me happy, dude. Like I would be doing nothing and thank you for this place. So I tell you some other thing I practice. I would be walking down Sheikh Zayed Road, wheeling down. I see this is one spot I have and I see all the high-rise buildings in shadows and I'm like, I'm in the best place in the entire world. And I believe it, Jason. And that just makes me so happy. Really leading a really healthy life, happy life would be gratitude is definitely one. Yeah. Being with your family, because believe me, they are the most important thing. Everyone will leave you. They are the people who will stand by you.
That's right.
And trying as many as things in your life because you never know where your heart will fall for.
Yes.
Or what your heart will fall for.
Yes.
So yeah.
I love that, bro. Honestly, and I think everything about you, the aura right now is gratitude. I can really feel that. And I think that's such a perfect way to summarize today's episode. Bro, thank you so much.
Thank you
for joining me on the Lifestyle Hub today. Honestly, very inspirational. It's been a pleasure to actually hear the levels of your journey because, a lot of things I've heard and I obviously follow a lot of the conversations and, you've done so many different talks around the city and internationally. But I think, when I'm sitting in front of you and we're going down through the nuts and bolts, it's really quite a journey. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Absolute pleasure.
Guys, stay tuned. Lastly, before we go, obviously very important, if people would like to, of course, guys, you need to keep up to date with Sujith for that inspiration. Where can they find you?
They can find me on mainly on Instagram, which will go by the name Sujith Story. So Sujith Story, Story.
Amazing. I'll have all the links in the bio. In the podcast episode will be available on YouTube to watch today's episode. But mate, thanks again.
Thank you, brother.
Guys, thanks again, and we will see you soon. Alrighty, guys. Lastly, before we go, I do have a quick favor to ask you. If you're enjoying the Lifestyle Hub podcast episodes, please take a moment to firstly give us any feedback, subscribe, like, and share. If you have any questions or any topics in particular you would like to hear, please let us know in the comments below. Please make sure you turn on post notifications so that you can be notified as soon as the episodes are released, which is every single Monday. It's our focus to try to get that to you every single week. Thank you so much for listening in. This is the Lifestyle Hub podcast. I'm your host, Jason Grimmer. Until next time, catch you later.